Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. Coming up tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show, we're going to talk about the spring-like conditions that are going on in the east. Winter storm warnings from Arizona northeastward to southern parts of Wisconsin, and we've got quiet winter weather going on in the Northwest. That's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time, and brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, and Southwest Suffolk County on Long Island, as they slowly make the transition over from winter to spring in the next month. And that means they've got mulch, they've got topsoil, and everything else you need to make sure your home looks terrific. 631-756-1125 is the phone number. Best prices anywhere. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. We are seeing a pretty nice day here in the Northeast. We've got temperatures in the mid to upper 60s coming into the 2 o'clock hour. These are the highs today so far. We're seeing a few 66s and 67s in central and South Jersey. A 70 has shown up south of Harris, actually at Harrisburg. We have a 70-degree reading. It's a little bit different as you go to the east of New York City into southern and southeastern New England, where temperatures are in the mid-50s to around 60 degrees, and that's because we're dealing with a south wind. And if we go further south, we're seeing upper 60s and some lower 70s as we are looking at parts of northwestern Virginia and into West Virginia. So it is definitely warm here in the eastern part of the U.S. We also do have some issues to the south and west. You can see moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico into the lower Mississippi Valley. That's when we have a severe weather threat today. In the Rockies, the central Rockies, you're seeing rotation here. There is a rather strong upper air storm and surface storm that is developing there, and that is the next weather system that's going to be headed on up in the Northeast. Still some clouds, though, lingering in parts of eastern New England and back over into Long Island. Those will continue to push on to the east. That's another reason why temperatures are having a tougher time responding in southeastern New England, is the lack of sunshine. As to the radar, not a whole lot happening. We've got some precipitation up in northern Maine. Otherwise, the radars are very quiet. Some moisture starting to stream out here from that subtropical stream that we showed you on the satellite. And you also see the snow that is going on in Colorado and parts of western Kansas. And the watches and warnings today, well, we already did that. I'm sorry. So let's go to the surface map this afternoon. There's a departing storm sitting in Lake Superior. We are looking at the next low here in southwestern Colorado. The air that's pushing its way southward into the northern Rockies is cold. It's not real Arctic cold, but it's certainly cold enough that we are seeing the issues that we're going to be seeing snow-wise in that part of the country. Now, as far as liquid precipitation is concerned, looking ahead to the next 7 days, in the east, it's basically a half an inch to 3/4 of an inch. The amounts pick up in the Ohio and Tennessee Valley, where we're looking at several inches of liquid precip. The vast majority of this, if not all of it, is going to be rain, by the way. In the west, the central and northern Rockies, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch of liquid to as much as an inch and a half in some of the higher mountain peaks from western Colorado on up into the northern Rockies. Some heavy rains in the Pacific Northwest along the coast, and some heavy snows in the Cascades. So that is going to be an area to watch for some bigger numbers over the coming week. And here we have the probability of at least 2 inches of snow by WPC, and it's from eastern Colorado in a narrow band that runs northeastward from there into the southern Wisconsin, looking at an 80 to 100% probability for at least 2. If we put up the probability for at least 8, you see some 40 and 50% in the blues in Colorado, northeastern New Mexico, also in parts of northern Kansas, southeastern Nebraska, southern Iowa, and even a small little area being indicated north of Chicago, actually right around Milwaukee. So interesting that WPC. I like when they do these really super tight little dots that show up, and more often than not, they do tend to get those correct. And as far as the long range is concerned, I don't think I have to tell you too much about what's going to happen long range in the east as far as snow goes. Little or nothing. This is Saturday into Sunday, Sunday into Monday, Monday into Tuesday, Tuesday into Wednesday. Finally, on Tuesday into Wednesday, you see a little stripe there of 10 to 30% from southern New York and western half of Pennsylvania across northern Ohio and Indiana, back through Illinois, and on further back into Nebraska and parts of Colorado. Just a couple of things of note. One is if we look at the Europeans' upper air, there's not a whole lot that changes here in the next 10 days. We've got this ridge in the east, a little trough that goes on through, quick shot of cold air that comes in during Friday and lasts into Saturday. And even from the standpoint of cold air, it ain't all that cold. Then that lifts out. We do start to see a vortex forming up in the northern Hudson's Bay, and that is going to cause a buildup of cold air there in Canada. But how much of that cold air makes it south remains to be seen. Now, the European seems to want to bring some colder air in during next week, but ultimately it drops the trough back in the west, and we still have the big ridge in the eastern part of the United States with troughing along 60 degrees west, running from Labrador down to Newfoundland. The GFS today was kind of interesting because it would match up with what's happened this winter. We've had two very short blasts of Arctic air that have come down. And today's model run is indicating that perhaps next weekend we could have another one of these short but very strong Arctic blast that comes down into New England, the Northeast, and down into the middle and even the South Atlantic states, although the bitter cold air will probably be in upstate New York and New England. So the models are kind of in disagreement over whether that happens. Ultimately, it's going to be another one of these that pulls out, and then we warm up and rain. So if you're looking for snow, it's just not there. This is a winter where the pattern has been so unrelenting. Even when the models do show the occasional run where it wants to make a storm, it's always 10 or 11 days out, and it never really picks up beyond that. So we are warm today. We will be warm tomorrow into early Friday morning. We'll have some records set this afternoon. We'll probably have some records set tomorrow. There'll be some record high lows to the records that'll be set Friday morning as this next low runs out to the northeast. You see the snow that moves up through parts of the Midwest. That low goes up the St. Lawrence Valley. Cold front comes through Friday morning. Showers should come to an end probably around midday, and then it turns colder. A quick shot of cold air for Saturday. We'll be in the 20s and even a few teens in inland areas Saturday morning, back up to the low 40s Saturday afternoon. By Sunday, we'll be probably back to the upper 40s and low 50s. And then we'll have another system coming probably along about Tuesday that looks to be on the weakish side, Tuesday night into Wednesday, with a little low going by the south. At best, you could say with this is that maybe you'll have some marginal cold air on the northern fringe of this, and then out that goes. And then we watch the next storm that the models take to the lakes late next week, and that should start the process, perhaps, if the GFS is correct, to bring in colder air, that very cold air, for next weekend. And again, there's that model disagreement, so we're not 100% sure yet whether that's going to happen or not. Weather in 5 is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, 6317-561-125 for the best prices in town. OmniTrueValue.com is the website. And we will see you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show right here on my YouTube channel at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.